Bond. James Bond.
Don't carry a 00 number. It means you're licensed to kill, not get killed.
We didn't advertise it.
What else do we know about this Chinese gentleman?
Nothing except his name, Dr. No.
I'm a member of Spectre.
World domination. Same old dream.
Why is he still alive?
Our attempts failed.
We're not going to fail again.
I thought you'd turn up sooner or later.
Very clever, Mr. Bond.
It's a Smith & Wesson, and you've had your six.
You with Spectre.
Well, I'm flattered. I prefer the revenge department.
How's it going out there, YouTube lands and all social internet media lands? Welcome to an all new video. So in this video is going to be the very first of my 007 Watch-a-thon review. That's right, people. I'm doing a James Bond-a-thon. Going to be reviewing all the James Bond films. Never done this before. This is my first time, so hope you guys enjoy. So before we get into that, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you like this video or any of my other videos so you don't miss out on any of these awesome and excellent videos. And as always, people, let's get right into this. Welcome one and all intermediate social media lands. Welcome to an all-new movie review, people. That's right. So like I was saying before, we're going to be doing a review-a-thon of all the James Bond films, and we're going to start off with the first James Bond film ever made, coming out in 1962, and that, of course, is a film called Dr. No. Oh yeah, Dr. No, people. Woohoo! So Dr. No being the very first James Bond film, and also the very first film that Sean Connery is in. Now this film happens to be directed by a gentleman named that goes by Terrence Young. That's right, Terrence Young. Now Terrence Young, he did quite a few movies over his, career, up until, he passed away in 1994. But at the same time, he actually did 3 of the James Bond films. Now, I haven't seen any of the 3 he's done, except for the first one, which we're reviewing now. But like I was saying, the 2 other films that I really know that he's directed, of course, starting off with is not only the second James Bond film, but probably another great one that a lot of people love, think it's the best, one of the best James Bond films ever. And that, of course, is From Russia with Love. Oh yeah, so I don't know much about this James Bond except that it's considered a really great one of Sean Connery's best. I'm looking forward to watching that one next and reviewing for you guys. It's going to be a really spectacular film, I feel. The first one, of course, always just kind of gets you started on what this person's going to be as the character, and then the second one kind of is usually better a little bit because you've kind of broken into that character, and I feel that's what From Russia with Love has done and brought to us a great and really well done sequel to the original first James Bond films. Now, the second film that Terrence Young has also directed that I'm familiar with but haven't seen is not only another James Bond film, but I think the 4th or 5th film down the road. I'm not 100% sure, I can't remember. But I do know that I'll be watching this one eventually too as well. Haven't seen it, but did watch the trailer, and this one looks fun too. And that, of course, is a film called Thunderball. Oh yeah, Thunderball. Oh yeah. This is another one that I've heard a lot of great respect for. A lot of people love Sean Connery as 007. I haven't decided how I feel about him yet because I haven't watched all of his 007 films yet. But I do think that he's, was a great actor, really awesome, and just did a really great job in anything that he was a part of. And Thunderball is no exception to that, and that a lot of people think that Thunderball is also one of his best films too as well. And that also was a really well done James Bond film. So I'm really looking forward to checking that one out too. But Terrence Young directed both of those films, which I find interesting, and as well with Dr. No. Now, when it comes to directing Dr. No, I thought he did a great job with, being the very first James Bond film. And also at the same time, I love the aesthetic and the thoughts that he put into it, and kind of giving it that interesting, very 60s vibe of dealing with, JFK and the, missile bombs, and just dealing with, atomic war and stuff like that. And so that was a big thing, especially, because that's when, like, Godzilla was becoming really popular and stuff like that. And I just liked the aesthetic and just the whole around effects of the film, of how Terrence Young directed it, and just the direction he took it in, which I thought he did a really good job. So this movie has a really all-star cast that is of some great actors that I have enjoyed over the years watching in other things as well. One of them, I really haven't seen him much except for a few of the films that I'm going to be talking about. Other than that, most of them I've seen in TV shows and other films and stuff like that, which they're just really amazing actors and actresses that really bring a great, just flair to their characters, and also just always give a great performance. Now, to start us off, of course, is 007 himself, Mr. Sean Connery! Oh, yeah! Oh, Sean Connery. So sad he died. I'm so sad. He was such an awesome actor. It's too bad, unfortunately, he just recently passed away. But at the same time, he just was an amazing actor that really always gave his all in anything he ever did. Fortunately, haven't seen him in anything since like the early 2000s, but we did get an amazing variety of films from the 60s all the way through the early 2000s from him that were so memorable and just really fantastic films. Now, the two films I really enjoyed him, and I don't think these two films get enough credit for how amazing he was in these films, how, classic he was, how great he was at doing the films, and how he really brought these characters to life. Now, the first film I want to talk about, of course, is a great film that came out, I believe it was 1993, and stars Wesley Snipes, and is called Rising Sun. Oh yeah, Rising Sun, which also is based off of a book as well, which the book itself is a really amazing book. The movie, I think, is even better than the book, I feel. Meaning that the book, I don't think the book does enough justice with how well they conceived this film. But Sean Connery's performance in it was so on point perfection. He really brought to life the character he was portraying, and really acted very well with, Wesley Snipes in the film and everyone else that was involved with the film, and just really gave us what we were looking for from the book. Now, the second film that I think is another one that is very underrated and that he doesn't get enough credit for is a great film that came out in 1995 that has Lawrence Fishburne in it, and another all-star cast type of thing. And it's a film called Just Cause. Oh yeah, Just Cause. This is an amazing film. If you like the film A Time to Kill, it's just a really amazingly done film too as well. Another one I don't think he gets enough credit for how amazing a performance it was. He was on point as well in this film, and also just really brought a great edge and a great grittiness to this character. And also just gave us a really great performance as well that really showed his acting chops and how much, how his acting chops has moved on throughout the years, and just how underrated of an actor he was, at not just being James Bond, but all these type of characters that he portrayed throughout all the films that he did. And I just think this really showed that perfection of his performances in this film, and he just really was amazing. When it comes to him playing 007 and being his first outing, it was interesting. I thought it was interesting that they made him try to disguise his Scottish accent playing James Bond. I thought that was kind of interesting, and at the same time, I thought also it was kind of, because it was his first outing, it really didn't show his potential for who he was as James Bond. So, this one I definitely think that was his most mediocre version of James Bond so far that I've seen, so only time will tell as I watch the other ones, but this one I definitely felt that he could have put more into it. But at the same time, it was probably one of his other first acting roles too, so he was kind of still getting into his skin. But it was definitely an interesting performance by him, and I thought he did a decent job, and wasn't too bad as James Bond. So that brings me to the next person I'd like to talk about in this awesome film. And that is none other than the main actress herself, Miss Ursula Andress. Oh yeah, Miss Ursula. Oh yeah, Miss Sweden. Oh yeah. So, Ursula Andress is a Swedish actress model who was just amazing in this film. She was fun. I don't think she was anything spectacular, but at the same time, I thought she did a pretty decent job. She was definitely not bad to look at, as you can say, because she was very, very attractive in her youth. But at the same time, I don't think that her acting chops were quite there yet. She had acted in a few things before this, and I feel as time has gone on, she definitely got better in her acting, because a couple films that I've actually seen her in besides this film, I thought she did a really better job portraying the characters. Now that brings me to the first film I'd like to talk about that she was in, and that was a 1981 film that stars Harry Hamlin. And then of course the film called Clash of the Titans. Oh yeah, Clash of the Titans. This is such a great mythological film. It was so well made in 1981. It's such, great with the claymation, everything about it. And Ursula Andress as one of the gods was really amazing and fun. I always enjoyed her in the performance, and I thought that she worked well with everyone in the film. And I just thought that this film really showed her acting potential, and that she was more than just a pretty face, that she actually could act a little bit and give us something that was a substantial and great performance, but also at the same time fun and captivating as well. And I really thought she brought that to this film. Really amazing film. If you haven't seen the original Clash of Titans, definitely check it out, people. It is a great classic. So that brings me to the second film she was in that I know about. I actually haven't seen this film, but from the trailer and from little bits and pieces I've seen of different clips from the film over the years, she looked like she did a pretty decent job in this film. And that, of course, is the comedy parody of a 007 film called Casino Royale. Oh yeah, Casino Royale. Not to be confused with the first Bond film that Daniel Craig did. This one was done back in the 60s. And this one was really fun because it had a great ensemble of comedy actors in it, along with Ursula Andress. And from what like I said, I've seen of the clips and trailers, she looked like she was pretty funny in it too, adding some great kind of like comedic elements to the film, and just working well with the different actors and actresses that were involved with the film. From my understanding, and also from the trailer, it just looks like it's a really funny film. And I thought Ursula Andress, it was funny that they added her in this film to kind of have her play kind of the same type of character she was in Dr. No. And I thought that from what I saw in the trailer and the clips, she looked like she did a really funny, great job in kind of spoofing her own character, which I was, really digging. So I'm really looking forward to checking out this film at one point down the road. This isn't part of the Eon James Bond film, so I'm not doing that one in this series, but definitely down the road I'll be doing a review of it and checking it out. So yeah, definitely, if you haven't seen it, give it a whirl, people. If you're a huge comedy fan, I definitely check it out, and a Peter Sellers fan too. Now, when it comes to her performance in Dr. No, like I was saying before, it was mediocre. It was okay. It was one of her, probably first roles too as well, like Sean Connery. But it wasn't anything great and, anything that spectacular. But at the same time, I thought she worked well with Connery in the film and gave us a really decent performance that was enjoyable to watch in the film. So that brings me to the final actor I'll be talking about in this review. And that is none other than Mr. Hawaii Five-O himself, Mr. Jack Lord. Oh yeah, Jack Lord. Wow, this guy was an amazing actor. He was awesome. He was amazing. He was excellent. He was outstanding. He was perfection in his roles always, I felt. He just was hands down a really fun and great actor that really had great acting chops. Now, when it comes to, his performance in Dr. No, I enjoyed it a lot. I thought he did a great job for the little part that he has in the film. He was a great addition to that film and giving us that great kind of other, like, 007 secret agent type of character as well. But a couple movies that he's been in that are considered decent films. I actually haven't seen either of them, but they are considered really amazing films that he was involved in. Now, the first one is a film that came out in the 60s as well called, ready for it? Ready? The Counterfeit Killer. Oh yeah, Counterfeit Killer, where he plays kind of like a secret agent type of character again, but this time he has to prove his innocence basically. And it looks like a really decent film. I watched the trailer, I researched it, looked a little bit up, and it looks like a really fun film. It looks like, Jack was amazing in the film. It also looks like it was a decent film, and definitely something that'll be interesting to check out in the future. So if you haven't seen Counterfeit Killer, definitely give it a whirl, people. See if it's worthy of watching. Let me know down in the comments too as well. Or if you've already seen it, let me know down in the comments too. And tell me what you think about it. Looks like a fun film, and like I said, from the trailer, it looks like a decent film, and it looks like Jack Lord's performance was top-notch. Alright, that brings me to the second film Mr. Jack Lord was in that I'm familiar with, but I haven't seen it either. And that, of course, is a film that was also made in the 60s called The Hangman. Oh yeah, The Hangman. Yeah, so this is another one I haven't seen, but I did watch the trailer. And this is a Western, kind of action type of flick. And he plays like a Western type of character. And from what I saw in the trailer itself, this looks like a really kind of one of the slower type of Western films that kind of builds up and has a really climactic ending. And it looks like Jack Lord did a pretty decent job of acting this film too as well. From the different scenes that he was involved in, it really showed some, interesting like action sequences, some interesting dialogue, and just really a decent performance. So this is another one I'm looking forward to finally checking out eventually in the future to see exactly how Jack Lord did in it. But at the same time, from what little I've seen of his performance, I still think it looks like he did an amazing job in the film. Because, hands down, I think Jack Lord was just a really great actor to begin with. And anything he was in, I always thought was really well, or his performances were really well done. If you haven't seen The Hangman, definitely check it out, people. Not to be confused with the Al Pacino one from a couple years ago. The Hangman from the 60s. Looks kind of interesting. So like I was saying about Jack Lord's performance, like I said, I thought he did a decent job with what he had in the film. And also, I just thought that he did a really good job portraying like a CIA agent type of, secret agent type of character in this film, and giving us a great kind of counterpart to Sean Connery's 007 in this film, giving us a little bit of a balance to the two characters, not being as suave and sophisticated and a ladies' man like, James Bond is. We have this straight-laced type of kind of dude, and I thought that Jack did a really amazing job. If you haven't seen Dr. No and haven't seen Jack Lord's performance, definitely check it out. If you're a Jack Lord fan, he was spot on good. So if you're not familiar with what Dr. No is about, basically the premise of this James Bond film and the very first James Bond film is James Bond is basically, in the process of working on a new case, it ends up he gets involved with this case that has to do with this doctor that's trying to take over the world, basically. And he encounters the character that Ursula Andress plays, and basically they end up together and trying to fighting Dr. No and trying to save the world, basically. And that's pretty much what the film is about. And kind of introducing us to who James Bond 2 is a little bit as well. It doesn't go into huge detail, but definitely an interesting, take on James Bond and also the very first film too as well. So all in all, I thought, Dr. No was a decent film. I give it 7 out of 10 Golden Movie Boxes up. I thought it was a decent film. I've always enjoyed it. My mom loved this film. This was one of the few that she always watched as I was growing up. So I always had I watched this one a lot. But it had been such a long time since the last time I saw it, so it was a great refresher for me to see how great of a film and how fun it was, and just, very campy and that type of 60s style type of deal. It was really fun, and if you haven't seen it, definitely give it a whirl, people. It's worth the watch. So that's it for this movie review, guys. Always thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Also, thank you for being a subscriber if you have subscribed. And if you haven't, definitely give it a try. I would hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any awesome videos I put up. As always, people, check out my links down below about either my Patreon page, the horror pack exclusives, and all kinds of cool stuff like that. So definitely check those out too, people. And as always, people, catch you in the next one.